I want to walk you through a feature update that I think a lot of creators are sleeping on. It is not flashy like some brand new AI voice drop, but it solves a real pain, turning long-form videos into a steady stream of optimized clips without you having to babysit the whole process. I've been playing with Vizard for a bit and wanted to show you exactly how it works, what to watch out for, and how it stacks up to other tools you might already be using. So, first up, what does Vizard actually do in plain terms? It auto-edits viral clips, auto-schedules them, and gives you a content calendar to manage everything in one single place. That is the three big pillars of the platform, but the real magic is in the details. Because it doesn't just chop a video into random bits, it finds the parts that have the best chance to perform and packages them ready to post. Let me walk you through a real example I set up. I grabbed a 10-minute talk I recorded and dropped it into a brand new project. I picked a segment about a minute long that had some punchy lines and good energy. Instead of manually hunting for highlights and caption edits, I simply selected the clip and asked Vizard to create viral cuts. It generated a set of shortcuts, 15, 30, and 45 seconds long, each focused on slightly different moments. We had a quick headline, a funny anecdote, and a fast tip. It also suggested different aspect ratios for things like Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts automatically. There was nothing special to do, really. Vizard basically did the heavy lifting for me. One of the subtle things I like is that you get a preview of each suggested clip. You can tweak the in and out points, add or remove suggested captions, and even choose a thumbnail. But here's the catch, and this is true for most AI tools. If you plan to make layout changes across the whole series, do that on your master clip first. Like adding a permanent lower third logo or a brand watermark, make sure that is in there before you batch generate. Vizard applies the visual elements you have in the source when creating the cuts, but those generated clips aren't live linked for later visual edits. In other words, if you add your logo after the clips were auto-created, Vizard won't retroactively apply it to the existing generated clips. So my pro tip is simple. Always finalize your visual style up front. Another nice detail is the captions. I always add captions before running auto-editing, because while Vizard can auto-generate them, if you want a specific look like a custom font or waveform style, customize that first. That way, the clips inherit the caption format, and you avoid a batch of messy-looking posts. It sounds obvious, but many creators end up re-editing 20 clips because the captions looked off. Now, about scheduling, this is where Vizard separates itself from a lot of single-function apps. Once Vizard creates your clips, you can tell it how often you want posts to go out and pick the platforms. Set a cadence, say, 3 posts a week, and Vizard will space the clips out based on engagement predictions. You do not have to hop into a separate social scheduler anymore. It is all in one place. That is huge if you are trying to scale content without hiring an editor. There are limits to be aware of, though. The auto-scheduling feature is powerful, but some plans cap the number of posts you can queue or the number of platforms you can connect. If you're on a free tier, expect restrictions. For consistent cross-platform distribution, you will likely want a creator-level plan, or higher. One comparison I wanted to call out. A lot of folks use tools like Descript for editing, which is great for transcript-driven workflows. But Descript's translation and dubbing stuff, while cool, has some awkward constraints. Vizard's philosophy is more creator-first for repurposing. It keeps the export and scheduling flow tight without forcing you into enterprise bugs for basic fixes. Back to the demo. I let Vizard run for a bit, it generated a batch of clips, and then I chose which ones to push. For me, that combination of automated suggestion plus lightweight manual control is the sweet spot. Too much automation and you lose personality. Too little, and you are back to slogging through boring editing. One more practical tip, multi-speaker content. If your video has 2 or more speakers, Vizard recognizes speaker turns and will often suggest clips that highlight each person separately. It is smart about isolating moments where one person delivers a punchline or the other asks a provocative question. Exporting is straightforward, just pick the clip, choose the platform, and export or push to your scheduled queue. A small gotcha. Always double-check the export language and format dropdowns if you are doing multilingual text overlays. I should also mention performance quirks, as translations sometimes take longer to say than English. When you auto-generate captions or repurpose for another language, timing can get weird. Vizard's strength is in making short, punchy clips that perform on social, not in building cinematic, perfectly timed multilingual dubs. If you need deep dubbing control, you would want to combine Vizard with a specialized dubbing tool. Vizard's advantage is stitching those pieces into a single, smooth pipeline. So yeah, that is the rundown. Final checklist, lock your style first. Use auto-edit to generate, preview your clips, and then queue them in the content calendar. I have been using this workflow to pump out steady content without losing my weekend. It cuts the tedious parts out of the process so you can focus on making the parts that actually build your audience. If you want, I can take one of your long videos and show a before and after demo. Alright, that is it for now, so hit me with your questions or a link, and I will walk through a specific project with you.